My name is Ace Sparks from Hermosa Beach Marketing, and I'm still stuck at a train station, so I'm just going to keep going. I'm in Norway. My business is Hermosa Beach Marketing, and today I'm going to continue to talk about operations. Because operations is important. So, the operations I'm going to talk about is construction mechanics and how to deal with the contractors that you have. The difference between a employee and a contractor, and then how you should approach it in your mind. So I'm sitting here, there's a lot of stuff going on behind me, but I'm gonna go ahead and try to talk as loud as possible. So when you got employees, you're covering the bill for everything. Your crap breaks, you replace it. A lot of times you got the money. If it's a drill, it needs to be replaced. If it's scaffolding, gotta have it. Call the scaffolding place. Well, I'll talk about that later. As far as contractors go, it's like this. So you gotta have lead techs, and a lot of times your lead crew members don't show up to work. So you also gotta have some contractors involved, some be in the mix. Also, there's some taxes and financial stuff, which I'll get into contractors and taxes and stuff later. My dad was a tax accountant for 35 years. It's one thing I know, is accounting and business. So the contractors, you got to look at it like this, especially when you hire them. I'll do hiring next video too. Hire employees. This is contractors. You know, contractor has to have a truck or tools to show up to work. He's got to have the right knowledge. He's got to have the right attitude. He's got to kind of mesh with what you're doing, and he's got to be able to complete the job by himself. Most contractors are journeyman status. If you're talking about a single man, then that's great. If you're talking about a man and a crew, then you have to implement your values of what I talked to in the previous videos. You got to make sure they're not screaming at your crew, and they're not doing things that you don't do. So you have to hang out with the contractors too, which means that they need to be at your house eating dinner with you all the time too, along with people from their crew. All that stuff is important. You don't have nothing to say about it. I don't care if you got 5 kids. You're gonna come over, they're gonna be dirty, foul-mouthed people. So you just gotta be ready for it. So contractor comes in, is like, look, I'm 30 bucks an hour. 30 bucks an hour until a drill goes down, and then he's got to sit there for 4 hours and go run and get another one. So you may not be able to hire him at 30 bucks an hour. You may want to go ahead and say the minimum I hire people at is 50. And you got to take in consideration how many employees they have. Sometimes it'll be like, I'm $90 an hour, I'm $150. Then you got to think about what they're supplying and what the math is involved with what they're supplying you with. Also in accounting, I'll talk about that later. So you got your contractors. The contractors show up. You can't tell them what to do, but they got a punch list, and their punch list is to finish the most important key parts, middle, end, and finish. You've always got your finish guy, but your contractors and how you deal with them and management is different. Get your contractors on a text message. You don't need to talk to them every day. Contractor says, hello, good morning. If he doesn't say good morning, you say what? No good morning? Talk about that later. Anytime you contact somebody by email or by text message every day, should be good morning, because nothing's more important than relationships. Contractor needs tools. Think about what they do and how much money they make you. Contractors make you money, and they do it without having to pay taxes. So you need to take that into consideration, and you need to write down how much taxes they save you every day. And you need to keep that somewhere in a legitimate place, either in your notes on your phone, or you need to keep that on your notes on your computer. So eventually, once in a while, they say, hey, this guy worked for me for 2 months, and he saved me $26,000 without having to pay taxes on his ass. So I need to give him a little bit of money, a little bit of sugar, and a little bit of my time, because he made me quite a bit of money, and he showed up to work, and his crew's good. if you need to manage the way that he deals with it, then you tell him that well, from now on, I have to make a decision. I got to have your crew here when I do meetings, and it's not going to be you. Your operation guy is going to do meetings, so he can observe what's going on, and he can tell who's drunk and who's not, and who's trashed and who's not, who's aggravated. And when you got emotional crew members on your contractors team, then I keep saying the word contractor, but what I really mean is independent contractor. Right now, for some reason, I got onto construction, but on your contractor crew, those guys still have to work together. They're always going to be jamming rock music, and they're always going to do their job, but most of the time they're going to be gorillas. So you're going to have to focus on cleanliness, staying clean, keeping yourself clean, keeping your hands clean, keeping your surface clean, not smoking in people's houses, stuff like that also. It's going to have to be with dealing with contractors in a construction setting. You're dealing with contractors in your mechanic setting. Well, tools are expensive, so your tool guy's going to show up all the time. So you either offset that cost by buying them tools, or you offset that cost by buying them lunch, or you offset that cost by giving them bonuses once in a while. Because the quality of their tools, it means the quality of the work that they're putting out. And you need to take that into consideration when you're managing a contractor. He's saving you money by taxes. How many days he works reflects on that number, and you need to multiply it. You need to have them incorporated into your daily values. Even though you can't tell him what to do, you need to have some sort of agreement with him that he needs to show up to those meetings with your operation guy. If he doesn't do it personally, it needs to be the crew. That works with mechanics too. You all need to be in a circle drinking coffee, no sugar, no cream. Bring some ice if it's hot out. In Florida, it's hot. So that kind of stuff you need to get into the implementation. If you got to watch this small video over and over again, go ahead. It's going to be there forever. So, I can talk about your marketing contractors because usually I'm that guy, and we'll talk about how to deal with all that later. It's one thing to be buying, a $400 drill. It's another thing to be buying a $10,000 computer. So that's a whole different part, and that's going to be focused on marketing contractors. But right now we're talking about labor contractors, people that don't work for you. You can't tell what to do. You can't tell them when to show up. You can't tell them anything. The only thing you can do is pay bills and how they invoice you, and what their stress level's like in certain situations, and knowing who they are and knowing how to recommend them, which I'll talk about in a minute, maybe next video. How to recommend somebody, how to act in a professional setting with other people just like yourself, and how to react to people that are wife bashing. I think that that's important too, on how you deal with that. So, and there's words. Words are important. Words come out of your mouth. People respect you with words. So, contractors, take into consideration how much money they make you, how much their tools cost, take into consideration your values. Cleanliness is important. Safety is important. That's why they need to be in that meeting. The way that they operate and stay involved in their environment, whether it's inside your shop or inside somebody else's establishment or something that you own, how they act appropriately. And that's why it's better when you have contractors not to have women around, because women's just going to cause problems. So you can get into arguments with them. We can go into how to discipline employees in your operations department, and we'll do all that in your Manly Minute. But I'm just trying to go ahead and give you some perspective on how to be a man and how to run a man's business. And my name is Eddie Sparks, somewhere in Norway today, and I hope you have a good day. This is your Man Minute.